Got some very good news today. The altcoin market is finally giving us a preview of the potential crash. You might feel like, why is that good news? Why is that bullish? Well, I got two major reasons why that's very good and why we are set now that we are still here. So let's get right into that. First of all, of course, welcome to the channel. Like the video, subscribe to the channel and turn on your bell notification. Now let's take a look at the market. The market is doing a little different, right? And you know, any type of move now seems like, bleh, because we pretty much went sideways for a long time. And we got a candle on Bitcoin a couple of days ago from $27,000 to 25.5, got back up to $27,000, and now we're sort of in the middle of it. What's quite understandable. I think a month ago or something like that, maybe slightly longer, we said as well, like, yeah, that $25,500 level, we will retest that, right? I mean, we had the resistance right here. We had the resistance right here. It's not a lot, but that $25,500 level was the resistance for Bitcoin that we had to break. And once we did, you saw that we were flying. And I already said, like, it's understandable if we do get a retest. Now, we finally got that retest. Will it hold? That's the next question, of course. We'll take a look at that. Although Bitcoin is not necessarily something that I'm very concerned about. Look, whatever the reason is, we now got a lot of news that a lot of altcoins are labeled as securities. Coinbase is in deep shit. Binance UK is in deep shit. It's like there is a lot going on right now. And that's okay. Because if there is no bad news, right? If there's nothing bad going on, then the price also doesn't go down, right? So there's something, of course, you have the sell pressure and the overbought, oversold, and just the TA, but you know, these kind of things make the market move. Now, that will be okay. It will be okay. And it totally also depends on how prepared you actually are. Because I said altcoins are not looking so good. And that's good, right? What do I mean by that? Well, we have the total 3 right here. And again, the total 3 is in this downwards trend, right? It's in this, what did I just remove? Here. The total 3 is in this falling wedge, right, where Bitcoin was also in since November. Bitcoin broke out in January already. Altcoins didn't, because altcoins were sitting at the lower side of it and they managed to get to the upside, but got the rejection right there. And now we're slowly grinding this line, but we keep on getting rejected, right? And now it looked again like we had a fake out right here lasting for a couple of days. So people thought like, oh yeah, we break out, alt season. And I got into some arguments with people like, no, this is not alt season. And so far it is not, right? And now we got another breakout right here. But like I said very clearly, like, we need a retest, okay? We cannot assume that it broke out, so we buy right there, because then the only way is up. It can always, like it did right now again, break out, turns out to be a fake out, and get all the way back down again. I said it here as well. This is what we got, and we got all the way down. I said, like, guys, come on, it could still happen. And it did happen, though. Now, we got some kind of a retest, but to the wrong direction. We went up, we got rejected, and we tried, but now this diagonal line is rejecting us here and here. Right, perfectly as well, by the way. So now we're below that. Now the problem is for altcoins, I already said, like, we are under the 50 weighted moving average, and the 100 weighted moving average, we are below the 200 weighted moving average. If we get to the weekly chart, you'll see that we are way under the bull market support band. So the only basically support that the altcoin market has is, you know, this horizontal right here. You can draw it a little bit like this, maybe you can draw it like this, but whatever, give or take that area, right? We now fell below it. We fell below it. That happened only here and here, of course, but here it wasn't really like resistance or support yet. But now we are below it, and now it looks like any form of support is completely gone for the altcoin market. And things could get really, really ugly for altcoins right now. The thing is this. if you look at the Bitcoin dominance is pretty much correlated with Bitcoin lately. So whenever Bitcoin goes up, the dominance also goes up. So you would have expect that if Bitcoin comes down that much, that the Bitcoin dominance also goes down that much. That's not really the case. If you look, Bitcoin is currently sitting, well, 15% from its high, right, in this cycle. If you look at the Bitcoin dominance is currently sitting 1.5% from its high. So you'll see the difference right there, right? Money is flowing back into Bitcoin. People just take they put the liquidity back into Bitcoin. And altcoins will slowly go down that way. So this is quite interesting. Every once in a while, I'd like to check this out. And I can tell you already that it now looks pretty, if we overlay Bitcoin, right, with the Bitcoin dominance, what do you see? What do you see? The orange line is Bitcoin, right? And Bitcoin is now sitting here. The last time we were there was here, right? Here, this. And what you notice that the Bitcoin price now is the same as it was March 17. However, if we look at where the dominance is sitting, right, it was, well, at max sitting at 46.7. But that same day, it also was sitting at 45.8. It was a very volatile day. So let's say somewhere around 46, right? Give or take the average, 46. It's now sitting at 48 already, while Bitcoin is at the same level. So that's the conclusion. Bitcoin doesn't move, but the Bitcoin dominance is going up. So more percentages of dominating, of what Bitcoin dominates in the market is going into Bitcoin. Well, it's not stables that go there, right? Because Bitcoin is sitting at that same level, right? So these are altcoins. People are moving their altcoins to Bitcoin. It's what we've been saying for months now, right? Be careful with altcoins. And you see a lot of altcoins are bleeding hard at the moment, and it probably gets a lot worse. Because what if, bullish case scenario right here, what does it take for altcoins usually to go up? Bitcoin to go up, right? But the problem here is that if Bitcoin goes up, and Bitcoin has the room now to go up, right? If you look right here, doesn't matter. Let me get a clean chart. If you look right here, right, we just came off of this support. Will it be possible to bounce back up towards, like, I don't know, 27 again, maybe slightly higher, 28? Could happen, right? Could also be, by the way, that this right here, this is also where we're sitting was support, that this is now resistance, and that we are looking for a new range right now. But bullish case, Bitcoin goes up, right? But in that case, the Bitcoin dominance also goes up. Well, the Bitcoin dominance is already sitting quite high, right? So if Bitcoin goes up, the dominance likely also goes up, then altcoins get even wrecked harder at their Bitcoin pair. And if then Bitcoin has another correction, then altcoins go down even further. Right? And this is what Benjamin Cohen pointed out as well. And I really agree with that. Like this is all happening while the S&P is having a run, right? The S&P is going crazy. The NASDAQ is going absolutely crazy, right? So it says something like stocks are going up, right? Now, it's pretty understandable if stocks will see a correction, and I won't be surprised if this was the peak of this run, basically, for the NASDAQ, for example, and the S&P won't be surprised as well. Like, I've drawn this line, like, I don't know when, but it came pretty close, right? And you can also draw it here. It still makes quite some sense here and there. But anyway, we are really sitting at or at around the resistance for the S&P as well. So if this finally goes down, yeah, if then Bitcoin follows, then Bitcoin goes down as well. And usually when Bitcoin goes down, like, then of course the Bitcoin dominance could come down, but still on the dollar pair, altcoins will go down, right? And then we look at the total 3. Yeah, what's there for support, right? Nothing. We just got rejected, and there is nothing left, right? So altcoins putting in new lows is, I will put the chances at around 85%, give or take. 80%, I think. It's super likely to me that altcoins will put in new lows, right? The total 3. And some altcoins will get way lower than where they were. Some altcoins had such a perfect run already that they have a lot of room to go down, so they might not see new lows. But overall, altcoins are pretty wrecked right now. Now, I will come back to why that's a good thing, though. Because it's very simple, for two reasons. One, and after that, we're going to take a look at some altcoins. But reason number one is, well, we've been saying this for quite a while already. So if you are prepared, then this is not bad. If you have Bitcoin or if you have dollars, right, you will get a way better entry on altcoins. Like there were people buying here. There were people buying everywhere. But everybody was excited about altcoins right here, for example, right? Yeah, because FOMO, people felt like, oh, alt season, because someone said that on Twitter. So now I'm gonna base my finances on that, right? And then it turns out not to be. And what you know, these people that bought the top are the exact same ones that will sell them to you once we get lower, because they don't make rational decisions, right? And once we really get a good entry right here, yeah, then we can step in. And that's where you can change your life, really. Because, you know, where we are right now, apart from the fact that you will be buying at every single resistance point whatsoever, there is not a lot of room to go up for altcoins to get back to the all-time high. This is like a... it seems like a lot, but it's really not. It's like a 240%, like 4x, right? A lot of altcoins will do a 20x, some do a 2x, but overall 4x. But if you do get an entry, let's say here, for example, and you then go back to the all-time high, that's a lot more already, right? That's a lot more already. So that's like a big ass difference. It's almost twice as much. So it really can change a lot. It really can change a lot. Now, another good reason for this is because, what do you mean? As you may know, we setting up What Do You Meme? That's my own project. And we will launch tomorrow, by the way, 1 p.m. UTC. Contract is completely written by professionals. So it looks perfect. The app is looking perfect. And if you have no idea, because we had to relaunch. We launched the token, but it turned out there was a problem with the taxes. But I felt like, oh, you know, you can trust me, so I'm gonna renounce the contract. So fuck, I couldn't change it. So we had to take liquidity out. Luckily, it wasn't locked yet. That saved us. So therefore, we did that, and now we're gonna airdrop you back all the tokens, etc. You know that if you are in a Telegram group. But if you know what the utility for What Do You Meme is, then you know that the lower the market goes, the better our project will do. And it's very simple. What Do You Meme is a collective launchpad investment company, whatever how you want to put it, it's how you call it. But what we basically do is we collect some taxes, and with these taxes, we will buy into great launchpads. Seedify, Downmaker, Polkastarter, you name it, Engine Starter, whatever is the best at that moment, right? We will invest in that collectively, so we can have a high tier, right? I mean, if you want to do that on your own, getting a high tier, even in the bear market, is expensive. And maybe you live in a country where you're restricted from doing that. So we will do that together that way. And once we start joining IDOs, we get these returns, and especially in the bull market, the returns are super high. And then we will distribute these tokens to the What Do You Meme token holders. You will be able soon to stake your tokens and to exactly see the percentage that you will get from the Launchpad wallet. So that's fucking cool. Now, why I said like it's better for us if the market gets lower? Well, very simple. Because, for example, Seedify, wrecked, right? And I'm holding a lot of Seedify. So I might feel like, fuck. On the other hand, we do have plans to buy Seedify. I rather buy at 80 cents than at 150. A lot of people bought a couple of weeks back for 150. We get them twice as cheap, so we can get twice as much tokens for the same price. Let alone if you do that collectively. We get a big bag of Seedify, right? And then we can have a super high allocation. Now, therefore, you need to have some TA like, is this a double bottom? Is this the best perfect entry that you can get for CeDeFi right now? Should we wait till we get lower? I will give you my thoughts on that in another video though, about maybe the best entries. But overall, I'm looking at the total 3. I'm looking at, like, if the total 3 has this much room to go down, where do you think CeDeFi is going, right? It's sitting at last support right now. A CeDeFi could get really fucking cheap. Really cheap. Like, but that's not the only one. Engine Starter. But that's a good example of a project Engine Starter had a run where it went from, well, the lowest point here is 0.0013 all the way to 0.0017, right? So it did like a 6x, give or take, right? So it has a lot of room to go down and it won't even make new low. So I don't think that I think Engine Starter is one of the projects that doesn't make a new low. Because it had such a hard run, right? Will CeDeFi make a new low? I'm 99% sure that it will. Like, for CeDeFi, and I'm not talking about these lows right here, right? I'm talking about the cycle low. But if you look at this, for example, how far is CeDeFi actually from the low at this moment? Well, it's down it has to go down 4%, right? That's like, if this happens, put a 0 behind it, right? CeDeFi can really go down to wrecked city. And that's good because CeDeFi, the project, is good. And CeDeFi, the project, will not go anywhere. Yeah, and if you love a project, I assume you want to have more of those tokens. So in that case, if you're prepared, it should be a good thing, right? Now, like I said, but Engine Starter is such a project that I think has seen the lows already. I, for example, do think that Nakamoto Games has seen the lows far from its low, right? Far from its low. Nakamoto Games, for example, has to come down like around 80% to see new lows. I'm not saying it can't happen, by the way. You know, if it eventually happens, would I be like, huh? No, not really. But it's very likely to me that this has seen the lows. But yeah, like I said, we're going to invest in these projects, CeDeFi, Engine Starter, etc. with what do you mean? And then we can get these super allocations, right? For now, it is waiting to see how things are going to play out. And you could, of course, be like, if you just DCA, it's okay. And I know that it's okay. But if you want to make the biggest gains, like, you could have also DCA'd here. Someday you will be in profit, but you have to wait very long and it won't be a lot of profit, right? That's the thing. If you DCA, like, I'm not DCAing really at resistance, with everything being a freaking security, exchanges in trouble, pretty high chance that a recession is coming up, with the S&P and the Nasdaq making freaking runs that you feel like these have to correct. Like, we are going to see some days in the altcoin market where you be like, oh man, this is never recovering again. My altcoin is dead. Let me just sell. Let me take what I can save and get out of here. That will happen. Very likely that will happen. And your only job is not to give up. And therefore, I wanted to make What Do You Mean? Because I've witnessed a couple of runs right now, a couple of cycles, and I feel that confidence so hard. I feel that every day what I'm preaching to you, like, don't give up, buy the lows, you know, have the patience, and you will make it. Man, that's I'm feeling that for myself. So extra, like, I'm personally, from my own investment, I'm gonna get rich as hell. And I don't even have that much invested in crypto. It's not like that I have like $1 million invested and I feel like, oh, I'm gonna make 10 million. But I'm gonna be a millionaire in a couple of years. Very simple, very simple. And with the same confidence as I have for myself, that I'm betting my house on, this is my job, right? I have a kid to provide, so I'm betting a lot on this shit, right? With that same confidence, I'm making What Do You Meme, right? Because with What Do You Meme, we will make the same rational decisions. That's the thing, right? We're gonna look, for example, at a project like Seedify, right? And we're gonna look at it like, after such a pump, a lot of people buy, right? Where it went from 70 cents, well, 80 to 160. Believe me, at 160 people were buying because they thought like it was going to break out. Yeah, and that's where you have to turn off your emotion. And that's quite hard for some people. It took a lot of practice for me, and it's still hard, of course. It won't ever be easy, but it will get easier. And with that same non-emotional decision making, I'm going to run What Do You Meme? And therefore we get these entries like, yeah, we will make a 10x or more on the Seedify token itself. And if we have like 50K invested eventually or whatsoever, great. We're already sitting at $500,000, right? But that's like, it sounds like a lot, especially if you watch this video and you have like maybe $500, you'd be like 500,000. But in the bigger scheme of things, that's not like what we are doing it for. That's not enough, right? I mean, we have to share this with the complete community, of course. So we want this to be a multi-million-dollar project. Very simple, and it will. And the token itself, the What Do You Meme token, by the way, that will like, come on. But only then I'll be like, yeah, now we are doing like what we're supposed to do. If we make our first 100K, I'll be like, a lot of people will celebrate, and for sure, I'm doing with you. But I feel like, okay, nice. This is like going into the right direction. That's what we're going to do, and we're gonna take a look at a lot of these charts. Like, for example, Seedify BNB. It's also what you want to take a look at in this case, right? Seedify just, almost set it as low, almost, right? But if you look at Seedify BNB, it was already making a new low. So that says something. Like, if you look at this chart, Seedify is super weak compared to BNB at the moment, which is quite funny because if you look at BNB itself as well, you'll see that BNB BTC, for example, just came down since its last high already 50%, right? 50%. BNB UTC or USDT is also getting wrecked right now. From the highs, it's now finally sitting down 62%, right? BNB was one of the strongest coins together with Matic. Well, one piece of bad news, and it crashed from 330 to 260, give or take, right? So yeah, and if you look at Seedify being weak against BNB, and BNB is weak against Bitcoin, and Bitcoin is weak against the dollar, yeah, then you can bet, of course, that Seedify is weak against the dollar, right? So let this market play out. Let's see how it goes, right? Let's not try to time that bottom like, oh, it's now 80 cents. This must be the bottom. Buy it right now. Bro, maybe it goes to 40 cents, right? Maybe. What if we wait and we catch it around 40 cents? That's life-changing opportunity, right? If it doesn't go to 40 cents and it goes up, let's say it goes to 50 cents and it goes up again and it seems to be a breakout, we still buy at 60, 70 cents, whatever. It's fine. We don't lose money. We're not in here to lose money. I'd rather miss out on a little bit than lose, right? Therefore, I don't give shit if I miss out on an altcoin, make a wrong call whatsoever. People called me out as well for saying that Hex is a very terrible buy. And it went up for a while, and I felt like, okay, cool, guys, you had a good timing. But after all, at the end of the day, just made a new low as well, right? And not even just a new low. A couple of months back, like here, when, like in this period, Bitcoin went up, right? And what did Hex do? Went from 13 cents to 1 cent, right? 13 times as low. Sometimes you want to be patient. That's what I'm saying. Doesn't matter how much you love a coin. I love Seedify. And I know a lot of people love Hex. And a lot of people love algorithm. It doesn't matter what you love. Don't marry a coin. That's what people say that. Because otherwise you're buying here. Then you're a stupid asshole. Right? Sorry. You're not an asshole. But it's like, look how much you can lose. Right? And Hex is a very extreme example, of course, in this case. But altcoins can make new lows. Nevertheless, how much you love a project, it can completely crash, right? And it doesn't mean that a project is dead or anything. It just means that it's not the time to buy. It's not, right? Because People were here like, oh, it's down, let's buy. 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 Here, oh, it's down, let's buy. Right? Now you have to DCA. If you DCA all this way, you know how much money you have lost. Right? You can better wait for a project to finally bottom out somewhere, and then once it goes up, you know, then DCA into these projects, right? Because in that case, you're at least making money instead of losing money, and your average entry will be probably lower as well, right? So if you love a project, it sounds very stupid, doesn't matter what it is. If you love a project, then you should really consider not buying it. If you know what I mean, right? Otherwise, you will throwing your money away. And for example, I love Gala still. I don't want to buy Gala. Look at Gala. This Gala Bitcoin. Terrible, terrible, right? You can say what you want about Gala. Here it was all Gala hype. Everybody, I know that. Everybody here was talking about Gala. It was all on Twitter and YouTube and all of that. Yeah, congratulations. We're now here. Nobody's talking about it anymore, right? Of course, this is where you might want to buy. Let me put it like this. If you do not own the asset completely, then it definitely can't hurt maybe putting your first DCA into right now, right? If you look at such a chart, for example, like, but if there's a project that's in price discovery mode to the downside, like we just saw with Hex, for example, or you know, you have a lot of these projects that are doing that at the moment, like I showed you before with Moonbeam, like that's also down only. Then you don't want to do that because you don't know how far this is going down. People thought this was, look, that's really the case. People thought this was the low. People thought this was the low. People thought this was the low. Or this, or this, or this. Who knows it going here, right? Maybe it goes there. What are you doing then? That's price discovery. You want to be very careful with that. But if there's a clear bottom and a lot of room, a lot of detail to do your TA on, yeah, then you might want to do that. So yeah, a lot of altcoins look wrecked. AVAX as well. Look, on its dollar pair, man, it's sitting way higher than where it was, for example, December, right? Last December. But if you look at AVAX Bitcoin, where it was last December was here. Now it's already sitting way lower than that, right? So still, it was better to just be in Bitcoin in that case. And you can now buy the bottom with Bitcoin. And so it's like, yeah, it's about mindset. Like, I want to make videos, and I will, about, we should now go fully into altcoins, and you don't want to miss out and convert all your Bitcoin, and you are going to make a lot of money. But not like people requested me to make those videos a couple of months back as well. And if I did that, it will all have been a lie. You would have got wrecked if you listened to me then. So I don't want to do that. I want to do it when I think it's time. And again, if you really don't own an asset and you feel like, yeah, now it might be a great time to dollar cost a little bit, it's definitely not a terrible time right now. Like I said, it also wasn't a terrible time for Gala, for example. The last time it was sitting that low, right? You would have made like a 3x on its Bitcoin pair alone, right? Now it's sitting at the same level. So could that happen again? Yes, therefore you could dollar cost a little bit, but be prepared for the fact that it's also sitting on tight last support while the rest of the market is looking extremely freaking bearish to me. So it doesn't take a lot for this one to make new lows, and then it's also in price discovery mode. And then Gala could also come down very hard. It's now sitting at 2.5 cents. Will it see new lows? A couple of weeks back, I would have said no. But to be honest, with where we are right now and how the market is looking, with all this FUD going on and potential recession and the S&P have to correct and all of that, I feel like, yeah, it's possible that a lot of these coins will make new lows. So let that play out. And in the meantime, look, what do you meme is something, it's not like that I'm saying like you should not buy, like it sounds weird, like buy what do you meme, but don't buy altcoins. It's weird, I know. What do you meme starts from nothing, right? Starts from nothing. So there's no like TA that we can do like, oh yeah, well, we have this resistance level right here. If the market goes down, what do you mean goes down? Probably as well. On the other hand, the only holders in the community are the ones that share the same vision. They might be look like we did a 4x on lunch. I don't recall a lot of people having the urge to sell that because you will regret, I think, in the future if you do. But yeah, that's of course, take your profits whenever you can. But yeah, try to look at the bigger picture. So guys, that's it. I think tomorrow, well, tomorrow is lunch. I think tomorrow I will do a video about specific altcoins to maybe do some TA on. If you feel like review this altcoin, leave a comment down below. I will put it in tomorrow's video. And then we're gonna launch, bro. So join our Telegram, link is down below. I would say be a part of the family. We don't do heavy marketing yet, and that's for one simple reason only. The market is fucked, right? So we can put all our marketing funds into advertising while nobody's checking the advertisement. Let's start, let's build, let's be together, and when it turns around, we will freaking moon, guys. Thanks for watching. Like the video if you like the video. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't, and I'll see you guys tomorrow. Cheers.